Gentlemen, it is time for the weekly show you can't live without. The week 3 recap is live from Lucy's downtown office in Milledgeville. Looking first at our games of the week from week 3, starting off where Mike Vick improves to 3-0 on the season. The game here wasn't as high scoring as originally projected. AC Slater was let down by Richardson, who has failed to really put together a good performance since his 32-point outing in week 1. He has looked worse and worse week over week. Bijan found the end zone, but his production hadn't matched up with previous weeks, so he only comes away with 11 points. And the superstar on this squad ends up being Dallas Goddard, who had a ridiculous 170-point outing. No touchdowns, but gets the BGB. Just an unheard of performance from the tight end position. Mike Vick went into Monday Night Football trailing by just 2 points. Travis Etienne, who had been benched by Mike Vick in week 2, looked to secure that final points needed for the victory. He doesn't get in the end zone, but he does get 68 rushing yards, which is good for 7 points. He must have tagged one on through the air. Yep, 17 receiving yards. That's good for a point. And Mike Vick improves to 3-0. In our other matchup, we have another 3-0 team, Niners Gold Rush. Now, this one wasn't as easy. It did come down to Monday Night Football, but it was Joe Burrow who was looking for 24 points against the Washington Commanders. Joe Burrow, despite not getting a win, had an awesome fantasy football day, 324 yards passing and 3 touchdowns, which despite some really lackluster scores here from Gibson, Ayuk, Sutton, Kelsey, the 49ers defense was good enough for the Niners Gold Rush third win of the season. Lucas TBD has to be disappointed with the 10-point performance from Baker Mayfield, who he spent 32 fab on after week 1. Now, one of the sadder games of the week, our second highest total score of the season so far, came from two winless teams. Two brothers at heart fighting for that first victory. And it's X-Wing patriciousness coming away with a 114-point victory. Now, heading into Monday Night Football, this thing looked over. I think I was trailing by 66 points, but Josh Allen and Dalton Kincaid came out to an incredible start on Monday Night Football as the Buffalo Bills dominated the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, what unfortunately went wrong for me is Trevor Lawrence and the Jags couldn't keep it close, and Josh Allen and Kincaid got pulled out of the game late in the third quarter. Dalton Kincaid had a first read look on an end zone possession for a second touchdown that really would have made Stan's butthole pucker. But unfortunately for me, I'm going to take a 97-point loss and end up 0-3 on the season. Who would have guessed? Now, looking at Ray Shrem's no flex zone. Again, it's X-Wing patriciousness with his flex receiver, Malik Neighbors, the rookie sensation. Now, I know we don't play PPR, but he is the number one receiver in PPR, and I'm sure he's a top 5 option in standard scoring as he gets on the board with 8 catches for 78 yards and 2 touchdowns, averaging 15 points per game at a $22 price. Malik Neighbors has been nothing short of spectacular to start the year. Now, Peabody's pros coming back in the weekly recap for all the wrong reasons here. Calvin Ridley comes away with 0 points in the flex after a $13 investment. He had just 1 catch for 9 yards, which is worth nothing in this league. He is the no flex player of the week, Calvin Ridley. Now, looking at some of our top performers of the week, Josh Allen, absolutely nuclear on Monday Night Football. The Bills look just to be the darling of the NFL. They are playing fantastic. The vibes are incredible. Mr. Brightside is ringing through the stadium, and Josh Allen is throwing 4 touchdowns. Dak had a good day. He got on the board. A lot of really high scores here for these quarterbacks. 5 dudes over 30 points. Jaden Daniels, who I think was living on Smitty's bench, maybe correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, Smitty, but I think he started Lamar. You kind of gotta. Purdy had 31 points also on Morty's bench, and Darnold had 31 points on the free agent waiver wires. So it will be interesting to see if someone looks for some quarterback help there. Shannon Sharpe making headlines with his girl Michelle this week. honorable shout out from the recap. Keep doing your thing, Sharp. But looking at the tight ends on the field, it was Goddard getting it done. And Kincaid finally does get that score and ends up getting up 10 points. Other than that, we've seen a lot of free agents in the top performer categories. 15 points from Komet. Now, I think Caleb dropped back 50 times or 56 times. That's not going to happen every week. So I don't expect to see Komet as a weekly top five play, but who knows? He has been a touchdown getter over the last couple of years. Conklin and Ferguson here, 9 points each. Nothing to write home about there. Now, looking at some of our top performing skill position players, Henry showing why Luke paid up for him, had a really good 32-point outing. Saquon looks like maybe the 101 if we were to redraft the whole thing. JT gets 28 points. Kyron gets on the board with 28 points. Chuba Hubbard. Now, I did notice in the top 10, we have Graham here with number 4 and 5, Kyron and Chuba combining for 53 points. Whew, be hard not to win when you get 53 from your running backs. Mike Vick has been a regular on this feature. Aaron Jones with 23 points. And then it's Stan, who seemingly had no running backs out of the draft. But the week that he plays me, he ends up with the seventh and eighth, the sixth and seventh best running backs on the week. A combined 42 points from Charbonnet and Monty. I guess that's how it goes. 24 points gets you 42. That's pretty good. Now, Gibbs on the board with 16. He had a good outing. Great day for the Detroit running backs. They were pounding the ball. Zach Moss gets 14, and then Emmanuel Wilson, the backup in Green Bay, getting in there because of an injured, what's his name? Got a Marshawn Lloyd back on the IR for Marshawn Lloyd. Really bad start to his career. Can't stay healthy, and sometimes the best ability is availability. Now, really nice pickup here from Graham. LA Grams go ahead and snatch up Juwan Jennings on Saturday after the waivers cleared and get a 38-point performance. 3 touchdowns for Juwan Jennings, the wide receiver 1 on the week. Sharp play, Graham. Save yourself that fab, buddy. Shawnee finally gets the breakout game from Jamar. He scored twice. Deontay Jackson benefits from Andy Dalton when he's on. Amari Cooper scored a touchdown in the first play of the game, gave 20 points for Lucas. Rasheed Rice looks to be a steal of the draft as he operates as the Chiefs wide receiver 1. Rome snaps off. Breakout game for Rome. He benefited from the absence of Keenan Allen, and it'll be interesting to see how he does going forward. DK has been a solid play all year for Smitty. Terry McLaurin finally finds the end zone on a deep pass from Jaden Daniels towards the end of the game. Malik Neighbors been no stranger to this list. And Calvin Austin plays for the Steelers. Free agent. He is available on the waivers if you're interested. Now, looking at our big D of the week, it was X-Wing patriciousness. Not the Browns D that I so sadly paid up for, $8. No, it was the Green Bay Packers DST who Stan was able to get for just $1. They score a touchdown, 2 interceptions, 8 sacks, only let up 14 points, 237 yards as Will Levis continues to be the best quarterback for you to play against in fantasy football as he continues to cough up the ball and make wild mistakes. Looking at the waiver wire, not the most action past week here, but we did have Smitty just absolutely flush his bid. Nothing better than bidding $1 more than the next best bid. So $11 Cole Kmet for Auction Matthews as he seeks to replace Mark Andrews, who has had a disappointing start to the season. Niners Gold Rush was looking to replace Travis Kelce, 2 big name studs coming into the season, both looking to get replaced by Cole Kmet, who didn't even open as the starter on his team this year, playing behind Gerald Everett. Now, for the defense, X-Wing willing to pay up a little bit more for these Dolphins as they go and visit the Titans. X-Wing got a taste of that Will Levis last week, and he'd like to be the big D again on week 4. Now, some other signings that we had here, Alan Lazard, who has actually been really productive through the first 3 weeks. Ricky Barber gets him for free, and I went ahead and grabbed Trey Benson, who I dropped earlier in the week. Now, looking at some of our week 4 games of the week to watch. Starting in the State Farm division, we have a battle atop the standings. 2 undefeated teams. We will have one 4-0 team once this is done. The projections really favor Mike Vick and the Niners Gold Rush. Some have said that they might be more of a pretender than a contender. really low points against, really low points for, but the only thing we really count is wins and losses. And two undefeated teams take each other on for sole possession of first place in the State Farm Insurance Division. Now, Mike Vick did get the better of Niners Gold Rush last year when he's put up 109 points to Morty's 82 points in week 8 of 2023. Now, heading back over to the DraftKings division, we have Ricky Barber taking on an ascending Auction Matthews team. Now, Auction Matthews can actually take first place in the division with a win and a Peabody loss. However, if Peabody wins, he will retain first place in the division. But if he loses and Smitty wins, he can jump Merrick and Peabody and get into first place. He is favored to win right now, and he has had the hardest schedule to date. So far, things are looking good for Auction Matthews, but Ricky Barber sits here undefeated, so I'm sure he has no complaints. Ricky got the better of Auction Matthews last time they played in a pretty tight 8-point game, 99 to 91 in week 7 of 2023. And then we have X-Wing Patriciousness taking on Peabody's Pros. He did get a win last week and put him in decent spot. This will be the first time that these teams go on to play. And the reason I wanted to highlight this game is because Peabody was 2-0, and if he drops 2 games, it's going to be a real quick fall from grace, which from for a franchise that started things off looking to be a top contender right out of the gate. And so that's everything I've got for you in the week 3 recap. Good luck, everybody, and I will see you next week live on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe if you like the video, like the video. Feel free to leave a comment and let me know what you think the best part of the recap was this week.